Today we're talking about the Sony A7C Mark II, the baby A7 IV that actually might be better than its big brother. So first, what's new with this camera? Well, the Sony A7C Mark II comes with a new sensor, 33 megapixel full frame, as well as the new AI-specific processor that Sony includes now with its new cameras. And this is something that the A7 IV doesn't have. So this makes for great features, especially on the autofocus area, allowing you to have subject detection for plane, train, humans, insects, animals, and more. If you've seen our review of the Sony A6700, you will be quite familiar with this camera because it features pretty much the same body with a different sensor and different features. You now have a front dial compared to the first generation A7C, as well as the double dial here to control the S&Q, the still and movie mode. The Sony A7C Mark II features a new rangefinder with a new magnification factor of 0.7, and we are still waiting for Sony to update their LCD screen because at this moment this is one of the big drawbacks. On the video front, you get now access to 4K 30 10-bit 422 as well as 4K 60 in Super 35 mode, which is kind of a shame, but that's what you get here. You also now have access to S Log3, S as well as custom LUTs that can be assigned by the user, and you also have access to features such as focus breathing compensation, auto framing that are also accessible in your newest cameras such as the A6700 or the ZV-E1. In terms of handling, well, the camera handles pretty well. It is a very compact camera, hence its name, and it pretty much feels like an APS-C camera with a full frame sensor. So if that's what you're looking for, that's pretty much what you get here. Very compact, good to carry around, to travel around with minimum impact in your bag. Now, one of the drawbacks of this body compared to other more professional bodies of Sony is the fact that it only accepts one SD card slot. And this can be a deal breaker if you are someone that covers events or pretty much anything that you can't reshoot easily. It's always good to have redundancy for this kind of shoot. So if that's a deal breaker for you, then you might want to pass on this camera. Alongside the SD card slot, you will find a USB-C, jack, as well as a micro HDMI port to be able to interface this camera with anything that you need. On the back of the camera, well, it is pretty similar to what you can find nowadays on the Sony A6700. It's pretty much the same interface. In terms of battery life with this camera, you get about 500 shots with the Z battery from Sony. Now this is not too bad, but it's definitely less than the A7 IV as well as the A7C Mark I. So overall, the A7C II kind of feel like an A7 IV for $300 less, but with better AF performances, as well as only one SD card slot. So that's basically the trade-off that you have to do here. Additionally, well, the EVF and the back panel are kind of lacking in this model. So that's pretty much the sacrifices where you save money. However, for people who are traveling and are looking for a compact camera, well, that's pretty much what they would like to have. Something that is relatively cheap in comparison to the A7 IV, while having still a lot of resolution, 33 megapixel full frame. And while the EVF and the back panel are not the best, they still allow you to get the job done. Another important point to notice is that this camera has 7 stops of stabilization, which is better than the 5 stops that you can find on the A7 IV. And there are a lot of features that we can point here and there that makes it overall a better content creation camera. Not necessarily a better pro camera, but definitely on the content creation side. So if you're someone that enjoys traveling, that prioritizes stills and want a bit of resolution, 33 megapixel, that kind of create content by himself, like I'm doing right now, and that want a camera that can do all that for $2,200, then I think that the A7C Mark II is kind of for you. A7C Mark II if you want to put the priority on stills, but still want to have some video capabilities, A7R II if you want more resolution, and the ZV-E1 if you want the video capabilities first. Thank you for watching Pro News, and if you've missed it, check out this video right here where we talked about the GFX 100 the second.